Earlier, David Martin told us about the fall of Saigon. But for some, the end of the war in Vietnam began a surprising new chapter. Here's historian Douglas Brinkley.
50 years ago, when the city of Saigon fell and the U.S. military intervention in Southeast Asia came to an end, President Gerald Ford faced a choice. Many anti-communist South Vietnamese feared forced relocation and political persecution at home and looked to America for refuge. But the American public was bitterly divided over whether to accept such a large influx of refugees.
On Capitol Hill, the Mail is overwhelmingly hostile to the refugees. One letter from Nebraska reads, "They bring only disease, corruption, and apathy."
The era of colonialism stands as an undeniable turning point in Native American history. But the narrative extends beyond the glorified tales of exploration and exchange. Beneath the surface lies a disturbing truth that has long been overshadowed. As European powers expanded globally, the Columbian Exchange introduced new goods, foods, and animals to the Native American. However, amidst these exchanges, a dark and haunting reality unfolded. Devastating diseases like smallpox, measles, and more silently swept through Native American communities, leaving death and despair in their wake. This historical tragedy serves as a stark reminder of the catastrophic toll colonization took on the indigenous people. Join us as we explore the heartbreaking chapter. In the 1500s, North America was entirely unfamiliar to European explorers. They viewed it as a completely new land, filled with undiscovered animals, plants, and fascinating people with unique cultures and languages. While this was a novel world for Europeans, it had been home to various indigenous groups for a long time. These indigenous people are now referred to as American Indians. Archaeologists suggest that American Indians may have inhabited North America for up to 50,000 years. They were the continent's original inhabitants and, interestingly, skilled explorers themselves. Their migration to North America occurred gradually, over thousands of years, as they arrived on foot or by boat from Asia. These early explorers ventured through icy terrains and along coastlines, eventually settling and spreading across the entire continent. As time passed, American Indian communities underwent transformations as they adapted to various environments. Their resourcefulness allowed them to thrive in deserts, forests, coastal regions, and grassy plains. These native peoples excelled in hunting and farming, establishing towns and engaging in extensive trade with other tribes. These were the individuals European explorers encountered when they arrived in America. In the 15th century, European nations began exploring the world to find new lands and resources. Their main motivations were power, prestige, and wealth. Europeans wanted to expand their influence worldwide and gain recognition. They were also after valuable resources like gold to increase their prosperity. Lastly, religion, represented by God, played a significant role in European colonization and the spread of Christianity. Countries such as Spain, England, France, and Portugal financed expeditions to Asia and the New World. Italian explorer Christopher Columbus embarked on a journey for the Spanish crown in search of a new sea route to India. Many European monarchs sponsored these journeys to tap into profitable trade with Asia. In 1492, Columbus landed in what he believed to be India, but it was, in fact, the Caribbean in the Americas. Upon Columbus's arrival, he and his crew encountered the native Taino and Arawak people. The Native Americans welcomed Columbus and his team of explorers. The arrival of English, French, and Spanish explorers in North America brought significant changes to American Indian tribes. The arrival and settlement of Europeans in the Americas resulted in what is known as the Columbian Exchange. During this period, European settlers brought many different technologies, animals, plants, and lifestyles with them, some of which benefited the indigenous peoples. Europeans also took plants and goods back to the old world. Potatoes and tomatoes from the Americas became integral to European and Asian cuisines, for instance. Despite all this, unfortunately, Europeans also carried a hidden enemy to the Indians: new diseases. American Indians had no immunity to the diseases brought by European explorers and colonists. While Europeans had some resistance to these diseases, native people had none. These illnesses sometimes spread through direct contact with colonists, and at other times through trade among native groups. The consequences of this exposure to European diseases were devastating, often leading to the rapid loss of entire villages. The first indigenous group Columbus encountered was the Tainos, numbering 250,000 on Hispaniola, representing the dominant culture in the Greater Antilles and the Bahamas. Within 30 years, approximately 70% of the Tainos had perished. They had no immunity to European diseases, leading to devastating outbreaks of measles and smallpox. One such outbreak occurred in a camp of enslaved Africans, which then spread to the nearby Taino population, resulting in a 50% reduction in their numbers. Despite efforts like religious education and protection from warring tribes through the encomienda system, the Tainos faced increased punishment for rebelling against forced labor. This eventually led to the final significant Taino rebellion, which took place from 1511 to 1529. After enduring years of mistreatment, the Tainos began exhibiting suicidal behaviors, including women aborting or killing their infants, and men resorting to extreme actions like jumping from cliffs or ingesting untreated cassava, a lethal poison. Eventually, a Taino leader named Enriquillo held out in the Baruco mountain range for 13 years, causing significant harm to Spanish plantations and their Indian auxiliaries. In response to the escalating revolt, Emperor Charles V, also King of Spain, dispatched Captain Francisco Barrionuevo to negotiate a peace treaty with the growing number of rebels. 2 months later, following consultations with the Audiencia of Santo Domingo, Enriquillo was offered any part of the island to live in peace. The laws of Burgos, enacted between 1512 and 1513, marked the first formal set of rules governing the conduct of Spanish settlers in America, especially concerning indigenous people. These laws prohibited the mistreatment of indigenous individuals and promoted their conversion to Catholicism.